So for several years before I actually went vegan, my best friend was vegan, and they never really pushed it on me. They just sort of like quietly ordered vegan items off the menu, and I knew they like really loved their cat. And they would just, maybe they would like throw in a little thing here or there, but like it never really stuck with me. And I think it's so interesting how like, you know, your best friend or even sometimes like your lover or your family member can try to like get you to have a breakthrough or get you to see something or get you to convert to an ideology, and you can just resist for like years. And then some, you know, it could be just like a stranger that you pass on the street that could say something, or you could see a billboard or see a little thing on TV. And then that little thing that you see from that stranger in passing will lodge in your mind and get you thinking, and then that will promote or provoke the light bulb moment that, for whatever reason, all these people that you're super close to and intimate and open with, that they could not provoke in you. I find that very interesting. And that's just absolutely what happened to me with veganism. And, you know, with a lot of other issues too, which I plan to make videos about those relatively soon. This is just kind of the first in a series of many similar videos. So with this video, I'm basically just going to tell the story of my light bulb moment with veganism. And so basically what happened was I was listening to someone talk about how they wanted to be a zoologist, right? And that was like their career aspiration, that was their goal. And you know, they just like went on, they loved animals, they you know, like wanted to volunteer with animals, they every time the ads came on TV, they you know, with the cats and the dogs that were suffering, they would just feel such a strong urge to help, right? Which, you know, that's good, that's noble. I'm not putting that down or anything, but it basically was like this person's whole identity, you know. Every time I talked to them, it'd be about animals and that kind of thing. And so I asked them, of course, like, well, are you a vegan? Are you a vegetarian? Like, you know, where are you at on that whole thing? And I was just like, I was shocked to learn that they were not any kind of, you know, that they consumed animal products full bore, that they, you know, they even seemed like, oh, well, why would you ask me that? No, like kind of like casual, just like, it just kind of like water off a duck's back. It just like didn't seem to register with them. It didn't seem to like bother them, like, oh, like why would I not eat animals? Why would I not wear you know, the dried flesh of an animal? Of course, like that made me think. I like was just baffled. I was just like, holy cow, just impacted by that person's intellectual inconsistency as I saw it. And so I started thinking about, like, you know, for myself, like what reason or what justification did I really have to be consuming animal products? And, you know, while I'm not like, you know, I've never had like a super strong intuitive connection with animals like this other person appears to have, I do care a lot about suffering, and that's kind of like my compass for ethics and morals is, will this reduce the amount of suffering in the world? If so, it's good. Will this increase the amount of suffering in the world? If so, it's bad. And so, like, given that, and really looking at the question of like animal suffering and you know, all that, I was like, oh, okay, well, I would be just as inconsistent as, you know, this other person who just claims to love animals so much, if I say that I care about suffering so much and I am complicit in factory farming or any slaughter of animals or exploitation of animals. And so, like, being the truth seeker that I am, I decided I was going to go watch, you know, some slaughterhouse footage on YouTube just to really, like, see, you know, if, like, how bad is the situation, right? Because, like, I think I was already pretty convinced that, like, I had to go vegan, but I really just, like, wanted to solidify it, or I needed to cement it. And Dominion definitely did that, right? So I think Dominion was probably the single most helpful thing for me in solidifying veganism, because like after you've seen that, how can you feel good about consuming any animal product, right? How can you enjoy wearing that leather belt, or how can you enjoy eating that sandwich with turkey in it, or whatever it is? You can't enjoy it when you connect that to the images, the grotesque images of suffering that you've seen, right? It's just you'd have to be a little bit of a evil person maybe to still enjoy it, or you just have to really like be good at suppressing that sort of thing, which I'm not. I just am like I just try to purely look at the truth. So point is, Earthling Ed, in addition to Dominion, was really helpful for me in making that transition. Another thing that was really helpful for me was thinking about like, my family has a dog that is a nice dog, and I have an attachment to this dog, and I would fight so hard to prevent this dog from going through those circumstances, from going through a factory farm. It would be tragic if that dog was in that situation. And it's just like our arbitrary cultural norms that mean that in the United States, dogs are not in those conditions. What's the difference between a dog being brutally exploited in, for human gain versus a pig being brutally exploited for human gain? It's arbitrary. They both feel, they're both smart. They both are like moral beings worthy of our consideration, and that like have the right not to be exploited by people. So to me, that was another thing, just putting my family dog in the case of all these animals that are just being like ravaged. So let's see here. I have been struggling a lot, like since having that light bulb moment. I've just been like purely vegan since that time, since that weekend that I, it was a span of just a couple of days, where Friday I talked to this person that really liked animals and was inconsistent. Saturday I watched Dominion, and Sunday, like after I watched Dominion, like by the end of that weekend, I like had gotten rid of my animal products and everything, and had sort of like made the commitment. And that was maybe a couple of months ago now, probably like 3 or 4 months ago. I know maybe some people like track their like, this is when I became a vegan, and I didn't really do that. So I would say maybe it's about 3 or 4 months. And now at this point, I just like look around and I just am extremely, extremely frustrated. I guess I'm in like that angry vegan phase where, people around me that I think, have good values, that I think they're intellectually honest, that I think are like, generally good people, are over there eating animal flesh, or they're wearing animal flesh, or they are, whatever it is, they are just complicit in the whole system. And I guess what's frustrating is the needlessness of all the suffering, the preventability of all the suffering, the pain that they're going through right now, because, right now there are animals that are suffering, being exploited. They're cold, they're hungry, they're tired, they're being beaten, they're being, artificially inseminated by a human. They are like chicks being thrown into the macerator and so on, right? So I just find it extremely frustrating that it's going on right now. These people refuse to look at the truth. A lot of these people, like my close friends or family members who I try to talk to about veganism, they will maybe like make the change to stop buying like cow's milk, and they'll start buying like almond milk, which I mean, it's something, or oat milk or soy milk or whatever. And that's a win. I don't want to downplay that, but I don't know how they cannot, like, once you're told, look, like, basically, like, meat is murder, to simplify it. like how can you continue doing it? That's what I really struggle with. I really struggle with that. So anyway, I've been really frustrated recently because it just needs to stop. Like, it just needs to stop right now, and it needs to stop forever. And because, it's just a great tragedy. Yeah, so anyway, that is the story of how I became a vegan, and hopefully somebody out there will find it entertaining or helpful or insightful or something. But anyway, like, subscribe, stay golden. I'll see you in the next one.